Right, so it's time for our first story, and spoiler alert, this first one's quite a juicy one, and it's a classic case of how to lose a customer in under 10 minutes. So, Melissa, can you share our first story with us, please?
Yeah, my story comes from like quite a long time ago, when I just got out of school and had a job at a bridal shop. We used to do wedding fairs quite a lot, and we've seen quite a few different things, as you can imagine, over the time. But this one in particular shocked me the most. So we were at a wedding fair. There was a lady just next to our store who was breastfeeding on a chair. Um, and one of the suppliers walked up to her. He'd been walking around giving business cards out to people, walked up to her, kind of put his arm over her and leant over her and was like, while you're sat there, you've got time to talk to me about
No.
my business. And proceeded to actually put his business card, open her bag and put his business card in her bag.
Shut up. This guy.
Oh my goodness.
It was honestly me and my manager at the time was just stood there like, did that just happen? It was, yeah, honestly so shocking. And then afterwards, kind of to flip it on its head and to give a little bit of a positive spin onto it, like we went over to check that the lady was okay, like checked in on her, obviously said to her, like, if you need space, we went and got her a glass of water, because I think she was quite thrown back and quite like nervous after that, and she said she just wanted to go home. But it actually ended up turning out really positive because of the experience we gave her. She came to the bridal shop afterwards and later became a customer, which is obviously amazing.
So
but
nice. Yeah.
do people have no boundaries? That's
What are your thoughts on that? Abbie, do you want to go first? What are your initial thoughts straight off the bat?
My flabber has been gasted. What the actual hell is wrong with some people? Oh my goodness. I was expecting this level of story, and you've come in strong. To be honest with you, that's just so disappointing. I think, you know, for some women, even just breastfeeding in public places is still like a nervous thing to be doing. You know, you're quite vulnerable. So for her to have had like the confidence,
like 10, 15 years ago.
Well, yeah. So then you've got somebody that's like being vulnerable, but fine, okay about it. To lean over, like acknowledge the space and lean over, open her, like there's just so many things wrong with this.
Yes,
so many things wrong with it. I'm literally like completely flabbergasted. I'm
trying to put myself in her shoes, because not only is he's a supplier, you said, yes, so he's immediately lost any respect that she would have ever had for that brand, that company. Like, and she's telling her friends, I'm telling you now, she's telling friends, she's telling family, and part of me hopes that she went onto their website or their Google reviews and wrote them a really rubbish review about him. And the arm over is very like intimidating as well for women, I think, like to be leant over, especially, and not only that would be intimidating at any time, I think,
regardless
if you're sat down as a woman and
if you're sat down as well
over towering over you, but to be vulnerable and like be feeding your child, and that to me is just like wrong on so many levels. Anyway,
and I think you touched on it there, Shiv, as well, about her telling her friends. I think there's a massive point there that actually I'm still telling people like 10, 15 years later. I must have been about 16 when this happened, so I'm still telling people like years later. Does that not show that a negative experience can impact your business for not just the weeks leading after it, like for years to come? Like it's crazy. Because it's not just put me off. It's not just put me off his individual business. It's put me off anyone that's within that part of the industry. Like they do tend to get a bad name anyway, his particular part of the industry. But honestly, it's just made me be like, you don't need that supplier at your wedding, because it's made me feel so uncomfortable. I think, should we all go around and say, I suppose one way that we would have improved the experience? I feel like there's a billion ways that we could have improved the experience.
Why don't you go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, I think for me, it would be like, if you're exhibiting at any kind of show, stay kind of within your stand and don't like, it's okay to have conversations with people and reach out to people and not talk to them about your business, but don't like push yourself on them, because if someone's coming to a show, I just think they're going to come and speak to you if they want to speak to you. So actually, the main thing that you're doing by going over and speaking to them is damaging your brand and your reputation, if it's done in the wrong way. How about you guys? What would you change?
My thing would be, and this is something that I talk about all the time, is looking at actually in certain situations where you're unsure of how an interaction is going to land, looking at a bit of a communication matrix. So like, what is it that I want to say? What do I want to get across? So in his example, he wants to promote his business and sell his business. The second part is he needs to put himself into her shoes or somebody else's shoes at the exhibition and think, what am I doing? How am I feeling? Like, am I overwhelmed? Am I stressed? Like, what do I want out of this interaction? Do I even want this interaction? And what is my response going to be to that? And then I put myself in the third position, which is what I like to call the fly on the wall, right? So the Melissas of the world that have witnessed this interaction on the wall and gone, is that a good interaction? Is that bad? How is she feeling? How's he feeling? Is it going to plan? Like, is it going well? And I suppose when I talk about that, it's about our own reputation, the perception of us to the other person in that conversation, and then the perception of us and therefore the business from all of the people outside of that interaction that have witnessed it and are privy to it, whether they were there that day or whether they've been told years and years later about it, like we have. We've now built up a perception of that person. So I would say, if you're going to an event or an exhibition, like, plan that out in your mind. That can be like a semi-subconscious thing, like, how do I feel, how would they feel if I did this, how would, what does that look like to the rest of the room, kind of thing. If in doubt, like, do that. I would say that would be my tip. Mine is, if in doubt, keep your mouth shut, really. But no, I was just going to say, short and sweet. I was just going to say, it's, I know we're talking about like improving that experience, but ultimately he doesn't, we don't know, I don't know off the back of the story that you've just said, if he's the CEO, the owner of the business, whatever, he might not have been. He's the only person in that. He might not have been. So there's every chance that people that are going around representing that brand still, so maybe there's 3 people on the stand, maybe there's 4. Everyone in that brand or everyone that's on that stand is now going to be looked at with this perception. It's kind of a blanket approach now, isn't it? Where everyone's going to look at them and go, that's that brand, and they might not have even done anything wrong. So he's not only damaging the company's reputation, he's damaging the reputation of his colleagues or his potential colleagues. He's damaging the reputation of any partners and suppliers that he works with, because no one wants to be associated with somebody like that. It's not even about, to me, it's not even about, there's business morals, but then there's just life morals. That's not really something. And it's not maybe that he's a rubbish business owner, or it might just be that he's a really rubbish person. And to overstep that boundary in so many different ways, like Abbie said, there's so many things wrong with that. I think that's something that is just worth touching on. But thank you so much for sharing that. As you guys could see, visibly, the flavors were gasted, as Abbie said. Our chins were on the floor. Literally. I mean, can you imagine if this was like in 2025 this happened? Someone will have filmed it. It'll have gone viral on TikTok. He'd have been cancelled. Like, chaos would have ensued. Yeah. He'd have been sued. Like, there would have been so many things that would have kicked off, actually, if technology and social interactions and social media was as rife as it was 10, 15 years ago or whenever it was. Like, he's lucky it's not 2025, because he would be absolutely annihilated, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think looking at it as like an overall, like, if you take out the actual context of this situation, looking at it within just businesses in general, if you're having to go to that level to get customers to you, you're not doing that first stage right. Like, I think there's so many ways that you can elevate that people experience and really just get people coming to you and give a really positive experience, and that's going to be what's really key to getting them onto that next stage and to converting them to customers. And I think looking at it as a business as a whole, is that not just literally like you could relate that situation to anything as a business, like even your cold calling and that kind of thing can sometimes, if it's done in the wrong way, feel very similar. And I think one thing that we speak about a lot in-house is obviously the fact that there are ways that you can get customers to come to you and clients to come to you and to trust in you, and it's about building that trust first. Otherwise, just your whole relationship will be tarnished.
That first hurdle, that first impression, and unfortunately that's the first impression that we all now have of said business. Obviously we're going to keep this business anonymous, and the stories that keep coming in are going to be anonymous, but yeah, gosh, not a good one for him.
No.
And I think that's a really interesting story to touch on, but it is the reality that there's so many different ways to get people into attracting and looking at your business, and this is just not the way to do it. Don't shove your business cards into anyone's purses or personal space. It's not cool, guys. It's not.
There are boundaries.
People, especially not when they're breastfeeding.
In particular, not when.
Just shocking. And it's obviously shocking because it's still stuck with me all of these years later. It's awful.
Love the positive spin at the end that you were able to go over and help, and just be probably not even wanting for her to be a customer of yours in the end, but just wanting to be a friendly face and say, like, we're sorry we saw that happen. That automatically is the first impression she's having of you guys and your brand, which was amazing, because then you were able to convert her into a customer just by chance. And I think that's a really nice positive spin on it. But what not to do. We love that story. Thank you so much for sharing, Melissa. And guys, there's going to be so many more of these juicy ones coming in. We want to hear more from you. And anything else, ladies, before we say bye?
No, nothing from me.
All right, then we'll see you in the next one.
See you
soon.